Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance Games featuring League of Legends, co-presented by Globe. And of course, we are in the winners semis right now, but of course, we'll be your shoutcasters for that. I'm Hiron. With me, of course, is Vansu. It's been a long time, man. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think my last AcadArena was, I think 2019, and I
Yeah,
casted video as well. So yeah,
yeah.
it's been a long
Been a
time.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Mhm. Yeah, and we are going to, as I said, the winners semis here. If we look at our bracket, it's been a very treacherous, single, double elimination, best of one. But now that we're getting into the last parts, the final, the climax, if you so wish to put it that way, of our playoffs, we are getting into best of three. So for the semifinals, a winner semi is going to be UPT Oblation Esports versus MGS Mages from Mapua University. This next week. It is going to be NEU Paradigm. Oh wait, yeah. It is going to be NEU Paradigm Verendus versus the loser of this match. So whoever loses this one, they have another chance to make it back up to the slot of Conquest on July 23. But of course, neither of these teams want to be doing all of that extra work, extra risk. They want to go straight to the final. So I'm very, very excited for this one. I'm sure a lot of the fans for both of these teams are making some noise in the chat. So I'm very, very excited to see how this all plays out. What do you think, Bansu?
Yeah, I think I'm very excited as well. No, I think this is the first time I've seen UPD playing in the semifinals for quite some season now. So their appearance, of
Yeah.
course, is really exciting for me. At the same time, you mentioned earlier na you semifinals, the one who's gonna win in the series will be playing the Conquest. So for
Mhm.
those who are going to be Conquest, see you guys there. And kung sino man manalo dito, of course, good luck, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, if you don't have your weekend pass to Conquest yet, you can get a chance to win one simply by sharing the stream. 5 winners will be selected every broadcast, so keep watching and sharing to increase your chances. We also have this for the Wild Rift broadcast and any other Alliance game broadcast as well. We'll be selecting 5 winners for each of them, and I think we're getting into the draft very, very soon. This is going to be a battle of experience versus ingenuity. I think as MGS, their roster, as you know, Vance,
Yeah.
they've been together for quite some time. We got Invicta Irili, Defsu is Jacob from the previous season, and of course Shadow Blitz and Admit are veterans as well. Meanwhile, Oblation Esports, they've got some really nice ideas. It's just about whether they can execute it in the face of veterans like the Mages.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm seeing a lot of faces here in MJS, no? Kasi I've seen some players here played in the last season of League of Legends AcadArena tournament, specifically Shadow Blitz. I think is a veteran player as well
Mm-hmm.
as Invicta and Admit, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
They've been together for quite a while now, and I'm really excited to see them play again because as far as I know, Shadow Blitz, I think he stopped playing for quite a while, and it's really
Mm.
good to see him again playing in the stage.
Yeah, and it's one of those names that you don't really forget. Not only was he a solid player, the name's also very evocative. Shadow Blitz, very. And he's been a familiar face, so to speak, in Collegiate League of Legends here. Gangplank ban here in the Akali ban. Unfortunately, Akali, we saw such a stellar performance from Draco Caesar on that Akali, able to get that 1v4 Baron because of a risky call there, I believe, by their opponents. So, Gangplank as well. A lot of solo lane focus here
Yeah.
for both of our teams. Ari and Darius are banned out here against Eerily and Shadow Blitz.
Okay, I think MGS here is trying to deny their carrying potential on their top lane as well as their mid lane because we've seen Akali and Gangplank as well. We've seen a lot of Gangplank plays in the pro scene, so I think they're just denying that carry potential. And on the other hand, Oblation Esports here banded Ari, Darius, and Trundle as well. Ari, I think one of the most staple pick in the mid lane that burst potential in the mid lane as well as the stain is really good. Darius, this is I think one of the first time that
Darius
I've seen
bans.
Darius ban. So I think this is like a focus ban on the side of MGS.
We have only really seen these teams play once because they were
Yeah.
just best of ones. They didn't go to losers. So this is going to be a little tough to call. But Darius, yeah, it gives me the idea. Okay, Shadow Blitz.
Yeah.
He likes to go for these lane bullies. Maybe, and of course, okay. I was just going to say that perhaps they're banning Darius a lane bully out so they can have a really solid early lane here. It seems like we have a little bit of an issue on the blue side first pick here, but we'll get back to you as soon as we can on that. So it's Aurelia. So the thing with red side on Oblation, I think it gives them a very good opportunity to go for that, 1-2 punch on the red side draft. And it seems like they are picking up on it with the Aurelia. And the Ezreal is the lock-in here for Slice.
Okay. Well, yeah. So there's been a Telecom issue, so we're unsure what NGS did first pick. But let's talk about what UPD pick on the first two phase pick and phase. So
Oh, it's
Aurelia
Victor.
here.
Yeah.
So a pretty good flex pick, no? So you can pick flex pick, area mid and top lane as well. Very good sustain, very good damage potential as well. And Ezreal here, one of the scaling ADCs in the bot lane. So I'm not entirely sure how this guy is able to execute Ezreal in the bot lane, because it's really easy to punish bot lane, Ezreal in the bot lane. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. And they do have confirmation that first pick for mages is Victor.
Okay.
Everyone knows what my feelings are on Victor after post durability patch. I'm not really the biggest fan of it, especially not first pick. But MGS Mages, it seems like they know what they're going for. They got the Victor, they got the Kaisa and the Nautilus locking in their bot lane already. So that's a very high kill potential bot lane with a lot of engaged tools for later in the game. Oblation Esports not locking in their support just yet. I'm thinking, of course, an Enchanter is going to be ideal for them, but maybe in second rotation because they locked in Uri here. As for the bans, we're going to have confirmation from our prod once again for the first ban from Oblation's side. But for the most part, they're just really banning for solo lanes at this point. Solo lane and jungle, top lane and jungle for this one.
Yeah, so I entirely agree with you. No, so after they pick Ezreal, they knew what they're going to pick. So like what I said earlier, it's really easy to punish Ezreal in the bot lane. So Kaisa and Nautilus pick is the way to go about it. So I'm really excited how this bot lane is gonna pan out, especially this through two strong picks, Kaisa and Nautilus.
And admits being on a tank jungler, being able to just get in there, take all the damage, have the CC for their team. He has a lot of experience on that regard, so I'm expecting a lot from him. Of course, a Defsur Jacob, an adept at the Kaisa as well. So I'm really expecting this bot lane to get a lot of heat, and it's going to be Paeng's job to really stem the bleeding there, because right now it really depends on what support arcs picks up here.
Yeah.
That is really going to dictate the dynamic of this bot lane. Maybe we'll see in the future in this best of three, maybe Admit will pick up like Sejuani support. That's something that has been rising in not really popularity, but it is something that I think is a good thing to pick up, especially in 12.12. We are on 12.12b, so we do have some pretty sizable nerfs. If you're wondering why no Wukong Prio, it's probably because Wukong's clear is pretty weakened because of the hot fix or the hot patch, I guess you'd call it. So it's going to be the Karma, classic Ezreal Karma. You see it in bot lane, you saw it in Legends of Runeterra, and now they're going to wreak some havoc here in the bot lane. Here is going to be relatively safe, and the survivability from Karma is really going to kind of pad against the aggression that the Nautilus can put out. So they are still going to go for the Wukong here. It does seem like it. What do you think of this?
I entirely agree with you now. So the survivability of Karma in the bot lane with Ezreal then increases the chances of them surviving the bot lane, because they're against versus Kaisa and Nautilus. So I really like the Karma pick here now. It denies the engage potential of Nautilus at the same time. Just surviving the bottom lane is their win condition. At the same time, waiting for Ezreal to pop off in the mid to late game, especially with that tier item, man immune, and basically scaling champion.
Okay, so looking at the actual bans here. So we're just fixing the draft tool for this one for you guys. But just for your guys' benefit, the two last bans for mages are Morgana, and Yumi. So a lot of focus on arcs,
Ooh.
right, to make sure that this bot lane is as easy to engage on as possible. Of course, Karma still goes through. As for Oblation Esports, I do think that they banned Jarvan and
And yeah.
Viego. So it seems like what MGS did was pick up the Wukong after the Viego was locked away here from Invicta. As for other jungle picks, I've heard Belveth. I do think Belveth is enabled for our tournament for today.
Mhm.
I have seen a little bit of it. Like second most picked under Wukong for academy leagues around the world here, like NA, uh, I think even Turkey picked up some Belvis as well. It is decently powerful even after the small nerf in the mid-patch update, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the Lavender Sea in action here, maybe across the best of three.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. So Belvet is open right now, as far as we know. But at the same time, I don't think that a lot of players have already practiced
Hmm.
Belvet. So I think that's the main
True.
reason why they haven't picked that yet. But like what I said earlier, UPD here banned Viego and Jarvan. I think the main reason is because MJS here hasn't picked their junglers yet, and
Hmm.
that's a pretty good ban, no? So Viego and Jarvan denying that gank potential, but unfortunately, Wukong is still open. Wukong is still a very good jungler as of the moment, even though I think he was nerfed from a couple patches yet. But yeah, I think they complement each other. I mean, in terms of MGS composition with that Nautilus ulti, Wukong ulti, everything. So I really like how MGS drafted their composition here.
Hmm. Hmm. It's really just about what's left, right? Like for
Yeah.
UPD Oblation Esports, they're missing their one of their star mid laner picks here. They don't have their Draco Caesar pick just yet. And Arcs, of course, who had, as we mentioned, had a lot of heat thrown at him in terms of the ban. So, oh, sorry, I already had the Karma. Never mind. Sorry. This is just really gonna be about the mid lane here. Meanwhile, for the mages, see what Invicta has to offer, right? Because Trundle was banned for this one. It was the one that he used for their first game in Alliance games. And as for Invicta, he has a lot under his belt. You know, he's got a very wide champion pool from previous season. He played Hecarim, Nocturne, Nidalee. Lee Sin is also an option here. It's not as ubiquitous as it was before, but it's definitely something that he can pick up. Not too sure about Nidalee in today's world.
Yeah.
Hecarim could be pickable. It's just really going to be Belveth also open, as you said.
Yeah. Well, I think Wukong is a better option here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think overall Wukong is the best option here. But let's talk about the
Okay.
laning phase. So after the durability patch, I don't think that
Mhm.
Aurelia is the best pick here
Mhm.
versus Victor, because if you're not able to shut down Hillary here
Right.
with his Victor, I don't think Aurelia is best. I mean, I don't think Ryan is the best champion in mid to late game, especially if you don't get those early kills. So I really hope that Paing is able to support Caesar here in the mid lane and get those
Mhm.
potential few kills in the early game.
Okay. We don't have it on the screen just yet, but just to list
Yeah,
down their final comps here, it seems that MGS, the Mapua team, has picked, of course, we saw the Fiora locked in, the Wukong locked in for Invicta. We got Victor in the mid, and Kaisa Nautilus for the duo bot. Meanwhile, UPD, they've got Gragas in the top side, so it's actually Draco Caesar on the Irelia, not Kaito. And Udyr in the jungle, and of course, Irelia and Draco Caesar, and of course, the Ezreal Karma duo on the bot side. So looking at it, yeah, it seemed like a lot of responsibility on Paeng here, as you said,
yeah,
Vansu, to really get those bear stance ganks out, especially mid lane, where I do think that Draco Caesar, if he pops off, it is going to be very difficult for MGS to really leverage that because Victor, I don't really like how he fares in today's meta. He's still very, very popular, but I do
yeah.
think that it's just not, especially with everyone being so much tankier, it's so much harder for Victor to leverage his damage.
Yeah, I think it's really up to their junglers on
Mhm.
regards to how they are they able to give advantage on their laning laners. So like what you said, it's Wukong, Gragas the top lane. So I mean from the side of UPD, so it's pretty gankable versus Fiora. At the same time, from the other lanes as well, if you pair Udyr with Aurelia, that's two CCs at the same time on bot lane as well. So Wukong with Ezreal and Karma too. So that's a really high potential in terms of ganking. But at the same time, it's basically also the same with FGS. No, they have high gank potential in all of the lanes. So you have Wukong with a pretty high mobility. So Wukong and Fiora, Wukong and Victor. At the same time, Wukong and Kaisa, Nautilus as well. So yeah, it's really up to their jungler on how are they going able to give advantage. So I'm really excited on this match.
And it's really going to be how their mid laners are able to handle all this jungle pressure as well. Like they will have the responsibility. Okay, let's push it. Let's push in mid. Maybe get a roam out there. If we can't
Yeah.
get a gank mid, let's get a roam top side. Let's go 4v, like 4v3 bot side. That could be a possibility here for the mid laners. Of course, Victor. We're gonna have to see how he fares. Meanwhile, the Wukong. My worry is that um, it might not. I mean, his clear is going to be worse, definitely. The Nimbus Strike is not really his clearing skill, but it losing like 40%, losing from 160 to 120% bonus damage on Nimbus Strike on monsters is going to really hurt his clear, especially come Wolf side. So gonna need a little bit of extra attention here on what his gank timings are. But I think we're just loading onto the game very, very soon. But before everything, we'd just like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Alliance Games wouldn't be a thing without them. Alliance Games is, of course, co-presented by Globe Telecom and powered by Logitech G. And of course, Fiber Strong, Family Strong with the new G Fiber only $20.99 ng Globe at home. Game with speeds up to 150 Mbps, mabilis na unlimited internet pa. To learn more, go to shop.globe.ph/broadband, and we have actually loaded into the game 30 seconds in. A little bit of an attempt here at level 1 from the mages, but easy ward. But that's 20 gold on their side. You know, that makes a difference.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and just being spotted on the bot lane here, they know that they have the advantage, especially that they have a early game crowd control coming from Nautilus. So it's really good that they understand that they have an upper hand when it comes to going a 5v5 in the early game. So, but unfortunately, UPD, I think they anticipated it quite a bit that it just is going for a 5v5 in the bot lane. So yeah, everything is good. So let's see how it goes.
Mhm. Both of them starting around bot side here, and I do think that uh, both of these lanes, bot side, are both of these duos, bot side, are a little bit tough to really lock down. Defsu has like exhaust to get out of trouble, and of course, Admit can just like anchor out. Of course, you're not ganking in an Ezreal Karma unless you really catch them overextending. So a lot of the focus is just going to be on Draco Caesar here to get him ahead, and of course, the counterpart is on the other side, Shadow Blitz on that carry top side.
Yeah, that's true. And I have to mention that Draco Caesar pick a Ignite in the mid lane. So I think he's pretty confident in terms of trying to beat or kill Hillary in the mid lane. So I just really hope that Bang is able to give him an advantage, maybe give him an early gank so that medyo sulit yung Ignite from Aurelia, of course.
Mm-hmm. It's really going to be about that flawless duet into the bear stance stun.
Yeah.
And if they can't get that within the next like next 5 minutes, I think is a generous timing here for Bang to give a kill here over here to Draco Caesar. Then it's gonna be hindi sulit, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, let's just hope. But I think if he's not able to get a kill on Hillary, it's gonna be a real problem because I mean Victor in the mid to late game is really popping off. No, he has that damage out at the same time, a bit of movement speed from his Q, so he's able to kite all of BPD's champion because you have the Gragas Udyr without any flash and the Aurelia. I think it's just pretty easy to kite those
Kite
champions.
City.
Yeah, pretty easy.
And I do think Hillary is just going for this kind of late game investment here. He's got the first strike. Of course, in a melee matchup, it's going to be very easy to proc that. He might even have, if he's on inspiration, if he has futures market, he might be able to get an early lost chapter here at minute 4. He does have the teleport bang coming in as well for the gank. Stun onto the Nautilus. Exhaust comes down. They will be getting the kill onto Admit, and now Depsu gets rooted by the Karma. Arx picks that up, and Pang is mauling this bot lane here for an easy double kill. Hillary, meanwhile, trying to fight it out against Draco Caesar. They're kind of pulling up here. Just a little bit more exhaust, or Ignite rather, is up, but Draco Caesar holds off on it. He's satisfied with having priority in the lane for now.
Yeah. I think yung MGS did not really expect that UPD Paeng would gank bot lane. Maybe the medyo not really anticipated yung wave clear ng Udyr. But it's Udyr, you know. It has one of the best wave clear on the junglers. So maybe the timing, I mean the ward timing is not just right. So yeah, UPD taking those 2 kills in the early game gives them really advantage. And you mentioned earlier, no, Wukong that got nerfed in terms of wave clear at the time when UPD Paeng was still ganking the bot lane. I think it was just clearing. Yeah, here we go. Okay,
He's able to get out.
yeah, barely surviving. But yeah, like what I said earlier, Wukong still clearing his jungle camps as of now. I mean up until now. So yeah, let's see. I mean, I hope he gets back to um what do you call this, ganking lanes as early as now at least.
It's kind of difficult rin, no? Since Wukong, the main ganking power is really in the ultimate, but the thing is, your clear speed is slower. So one, you're not the only times that you're really gonna be able to gank without hard CC from your own jungler is whether it's a counter gank or an overextension in the lane. But because the clear speed is slower, there's less chances, or less opportunities to counter gank because you're still clearing your monster camps. Of course, just a little bit behind on the level 6 as well, but Invicta has been power farming, going for all of these full clears. He knows about the nerf, and he's just going for level 6 as fast as possible, and that's when they can strike. When Drake is up, when Rift Herald is up, that's going to be the linchpin of their early game operations here for the mages.
Yeah, I like what you said earlier. No, so Wukong plus Victor isn't really the best in terms of ganking because, like we just said, Victor doesn't really have a hard CC at the same time as Aurelia too. So Aurelia plus Wukong, and if you're ganking Gragas, it's gonna be quite a bit hard. But I like how they secured the Dragonov. They know that they don't have any wards on the side of UPD, and they were able to secure the first Mountain Drake of the game. So I think the chances of Wukong here na lang is, I think, if he's able to gank UPD on the bot side of the map, because that's the only lane where they have giant CC coming from Nautilus, as well as if Wukong is able to level 6, I think they have a good chance of ganking bot lane.
They just have to worry about Draco Caesar because he's full build Irelia with Bam Scepter, you know. Meanwhile, Irelia, I forgot, of course, he has Biscuit, so of course he can't get Futures Market. But he did opt to go for Seeker's Arm Guard, which is it's not my favorite item, you know, but he might have said, okay, this is necessary just so I can survive against this Irelia. But it does mean that his early game is really going to suffer, and I think that's why they're sending Admit here mid lane. They're having a lot of defensive wards around the Drake side for Hillary's defense here, and he's really just going all in on the late game with the first strike. Having to go through Seeker's Arm Guard first is really going to be slowing him down here. Meanwhile, Oblation Esports seems like they're comfortably laning on the side lanes as well, so nothing too big, and Pine can kind of just power farm here while waiting for an opportunity to gank.
Yeah, that's true. No, building Seeker's Arm Guard, especially for mages like Victor, I think it denies your 1v1 capability. You know? It's really hard to 1v1 your lane if you build the Seeker's Arm Guard. But at the same time, it gives a lot of survivability. Because imagine there's Aurelia on your lane plus Udyr on their jungler. So yeah, I think it's the best, at least for now. Even though that you don't have real damage output in the early game, I still believe that Victor here can still scale on the mid to late game at least.
Yeah, it's kind of like he has to take this L.
Yeah,
Otherwise he might get killed a lot,
not the
killed
best.
here. Yeah, it's like so little value for your gold, but at least he's getting Seeker's arm guard early, so just stack up the armor
Hmm.
as fast as possible. But looking at the other lanes here, it seems like Kaito has been missing a few waves here, of course, in this matchup. Shadow Blitz can kind of really threaten, but Kaito's been doing a very good job at keeping Shadow Blitz at bay, not letting him go for these trades with the vitals being popped, and just whittling him down slowly in the top side, especially with the tier being built here by Shadow Blitz. That's like 400-ish gold of no combat stats, so Kaito is like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take these trades. Invicta
Yeah,
around here, though.
yeah, I agree
No
with you.
cash.
Well, Fiora, I think one of the best champions in the side lanes there is. Although there
Mm-hmm.
has been a recent nerf on his passive, I think she's really still viable. So
Mm-hmm.
she has the 12 CS advantage in the top lane, which is okay. No, okay for Fiora versus Gragas. I think that's fine. So Invicta here trying to start the RH not being detected by UPD, I think. So is this a free RH?
Yeah, it does seem like it. The Drake already taken earlier by MGS as well, so it seems like Fang right now he's like, okay, I don't care about that. I'm just looking for resources I can take, as if you look at the wards here from OBE, a couple of offensive wards here, deep vision on the top side to kind of watch where Invicta and Hillary are going. But
Okay.
Fang hasn't really found a gank out of this just yet. I think that's what he's really looking for. Blast Cone could give him an access, set up a dive maybe with Draco Caesar. That's why he's like walking around the bot side as well. A lot of pings coming through. We might be seeing a dive onto Depsu here before Admit can get here. It is not looking good. Exhaust already coming down, Slice taking a couple hits there, but look at that damage. It's enough for them to take that without too much risk, and it's going to be another kill here going to the bot lane of Oblation Esports. 201 on Slice.
Yeah. Well, I really like how MGS was able to secure two objectives that they weren't really spotted though. So first they were able to secure that Fountain Drake, and there wasn't really any ward coming from the DPD. At the same time, they were able to secure that RH too. I mean, not being spotted. I don't know why that's happening, but I know it's good for them. Although that UPD Paeng was able to get those two kills in the early game, I think he could be able to at least capitalize more, or I mean at least get those objectives because they have an upper hand in the early game. So it should be the other way around. He should be able to capitalize the level advantage, the
Mhm.
item advantage at least. But I am sure why it's happened this way.
Of course, Rift Herald here. Even a two-shot barrage not doing much. A lot of plates being taken here by Shadow Blitz, so that's all fair and good. The Rift Herald, I would say that's I guess that was worth it. Trading they didn't really trade the Rift Herald for anything. They just got it for free.
Yeah.
Just put it in and get some plates for Shadow Blitz. All of these are late game investments here for both the Fiora and the Victor, and MGS really knows what game plan that they have here. Meanwhile, Depsu picking up the serrated Dirk here as well to accelerate his, probably when he gets his first his evolutions here to get that AD once he finishes his first item. But for now, just try not to die too much. The third time is going to be the charm here for OB. That's really going to overflow here if they die another time here to a dive, and I do think that's why they've had some really good, actually not really good, but decent, the bare minimum defensive vision here on bot side.
Yeah, that's true. And looking at these items now, Draco Caesar was able
Oh wait, no,
to
that's actually very good. Yeah.
was able to complete that fort on 12 minutes in the game, and I think that gives him very good sustain, especially when this Victor only built Seeker's Arm Guard in Lost Chapter so far. No, so I don't think there's any really threat potential coming from Hillary at the moment. But let's see. Like what I said earlier, Victor is a really good mid to late game champion. So even though that he doesn't have really any damage output at the moment, I still believe that he can carry a leader at least when is able to upgrade those skills.
And for now, just sitting on those components, that's the worst feeling as a mage. Once again, it's all part of their, I believe this is all just part of MGS's game plan. They're losing not too much, but they're coming from behind a pincer here from Admit, going on to Arx, get that Dredge line, immediately goes in for the knockup. Arx is going to have to shield himself to get away, but I think he's going to go down. Depsu picks it up, Invicta is going to be next to go in here. Kaito, can he save his buddy Slice? 1-1 on the Plasma, is able to flash away, but that is going to be the Cyclone taking him out. Easy kill here. A shutdown onto Wukong means that this is going to be a 2-for-1 trade. Very much worth it for MGS, because it's essentially 1 for 3 if you take into account the shutdown.
Yeah, I think UPD here, I think they forgot the burst potential that would come from Kai'Sa and Nautilus, no? Kasi they were a bit overextend. Maybe they did not really expect that Nautilus would go rotate and go for the kill. So yeah, tempo here from
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty bad for Ezreal, especially when he dies from early to mid game, especially when he's stacking that man immune. Now he only has like 207 stacks, so gonna get denied for a bit, but I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's not too much of a setback. All it really, well, it's a pretty big breakthrough here for MGS. They're able to get a shutdown onto Depsu here, which does even out a little bit all the dives that UPD, the ganks and dive that UPD performed in the bot side. No more plates for him, unfortunately, but I think he's sitting happy here. The rest of his team is... as soon as Hillary is able to finish his first item here, his mythic, then I think they're going to be able to fight Shadow Blitz once he gets his Gore Drinker as well. Invicta already has the Divine Thunder, right? So they can actually fight. Okay, there we go. Leandri's built here, building for Kaito and buying in Draco's Teaser here. Very nice pickup here by Hirali. I think now they're able to fight as long as they get a really good opening play with Admit and Invicta. Otherwise, the power spike is just not is just more there for Oblation Esports.
Yeah, that's true. We're 15 minutes a game, and I think MGS only has like 1k gold lead, so that's not really a sizable lead. So like what I said earlier, it's really up to how these teams execute their composition. So I'm really looking forward how will they will be able to fight in the next objective, or even are they going to go for it? Because right now, if you take a look at it, I mean, Deer has like 154 CS in 15 minutes in the game. I don't know why he has like
power farming.
Power farming. Yeah, you mentioned earlier that really, I mean, Deer has a really good wave clear, but I think this is far from like very good.
Teaser though, he has to flash, but one more shot is gonna finish it off, and it's going to be. I do think that was like the red buff that came out plus some dot as well from the Kill Storm, but it seems like you might trade it for a dive onto bot side. Gonna be a little bit tough. Depsu does have Killer Instinct. Meanwhile, top side, Kaito, 2 fights happening on opposite sides, but Arx though, I think he went forward a little too much, and Kaito bit off more than he could chew. So this is essentially 3 kills for nothing here, taken by MGS. Very good pickup. Oblation fumbles hard. They lose first turret. And this doesn't look good even with their 2 drakes.
Yeah, I think Arc here is a little bit overextended, no? I think he did not respect Depsu's damage when Depsu already has the Kraken and discarded Dirk as an item. So I'm sure why he did that in first place. But yeah, not the best trade so far. They were able to kill Karma at the same time, get the first tower in the top lane. So right now, in terms of gold, we're just really equal.
There's going to be teleport coming in for the Warren here. Kaito in for the body slam, misses the explosive cast. That's big. Hilary from around the corner, but he's not doing that much damage, even with the Leandries. And that is just going to be 1 kill taken by Oblation. They know what they want, they back off, but they don't get anything more than that.
Yeah, basically that's just 1 kill now. Right now, what Gregas has to do is at least show that top lane, deny that Fiora's second tower potential threat on the top lane, because that's Fiora, and it's really hard to
durability patch, by the way. And Arx picks it up like an alley-oop. That was disgusting. That was just
that's a tank, by the way.
He was just running it down. He was just running it down on Wolf Camp.
I think that's what you get if you full cleared from all the way to early to mid game. No? So you have 175
Mhm.
CS and being able to pick
Two
up
full
those two
items.
completed item. So Sunfire and Frozen Heart at the same time. Sheesh, that's really tanky. No?
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't know if GS is able to shut down Paeng. Maybe they have to entirely rely on Hillary's AP damage, no? But I don't think that's still enough to shut
Mhm.
down Paeng.
Not right now,
Not right now,
especially
yeah, at
how
least.
Hillary hasn't really built up a wide set of items to complement Leandri's. So I do think Bayang picking up like the all the attack speed slow from the Frozen Heart is good against all three of their AD threats, and because their AP, their magic damage threat, isn't too big right now. I think I'm just sitting happy here. So it's all about how Oblation Esports can leverage how much Paeng can take it to the face against MGS. But here, Kaito going for the quad slam. Here comes Arcs, and Slice flashes over with a lunge. Then gonna dive with Kaito here. Parries the body slam. I think that's enough to keep him alive. And Oblation Esports walks away with nothing, with mid lane being Udyr. Udyr opening the gates here. Defsu not doing much against him. The Phoenix stance is doing a lot. Draco Caesar in here now to pick up the kill. Teleport coming in. But I think that is enough for Oblation Esports to back off. They burn a TP. Rift Herald being summoned bot side. Oblation Esports, they need to make a decision mid or they're going to lose this bot lane tower. They already lost it.
Yeah, there is lost it. So yeah, that's for you know, it's really hard to gank Fiora, even though that he was a bit overextended in the top lane.
Mhm.
But you know, it's Fiora. Fiora has a flash, Fiora has a parry, so Shadow Police was able to get alive. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, you know, they're tanking so much damage, right? And the burst 9 all still he was still alive, and I don't know why it's happening. So like what I said earlier, they still have to at least rely for Hillary's magic damage, but not right now. No, so we're aiming for that build to come through, that damage output from Hillary in the late game na siguro right now, since he went for the Seeker's Arm Guard route. I think medyo na delay yung power spike niya for a bit.
Mhm, mhm. And even with the Kraken Slayer deaths, Frozen Heart kind of just prevents him from really taking out Paeng at this point. But it seems like Oblation Esports is they did fumble with those 3 kills that they gave MGS for basically free, but it does seem like they aren't too phased by that. They're trying to get small wins, picking blue buff, getting some deep vision as well here. Kaito's gonna have to dodge Shadow Blitz to prevent the ulti from popping. It does come through, as Shadow Blitz has to be careful topside, and Kaito, he probably still wants to assert dominance here topside. Teleport is up for both of them. This Hex Drake is going to be soul point for OBE if they can take it, but let's see what MGS has to say for it. That's going to be the missile going wide here. Paeng just going into the middle of everyone here, but Cyclone comes through. Arcs taking a lot of damage. This is going to be killing Instinct to the back with a Cyclone. What? Too much damage with the teleport coming in, and now it seems like MGS is routing, split apart. Hillary running away. Shelwood's trying to fight back. Does get 1 kill here. Can he get more? No, the parry does not come through. Is not enough, and Paeng just runs it down, and he's able to get an ace here. The Drake is also going to get secured. That's soul point for Oblation Esports. They had a power spike.
Yeah, that's true. So, sobrang tanky ni Peng. I mean, he bulldozed lahat ng kalaban all his way through, dealing so much damage at
Oh
the same time.
no.
And I think one of the reasons why he picked that Negron Cloak is to at least deny that magic damage coming from Hillary. And I think that's one of the reasons why he was able to be alive throughout those whole skirmish. So right now, UPD being able to secure that soul point, yung late game threat nila, even though that we've been saying a lot that Hillary is a biggest threat here in the late game, still, you know, securing the third soul point and positioning the fourth, since they have a small lead, not really sizable lead, but I think in terms of pick right now, no, I mean that Udyr, I don't know how are they able to kill that Udyr even in the late game with so much mobility, so much armor, magic resist, and health at the same time, and 2 levels gap din siya against Invicta here.
That
So I don't know how they plan on
they
really
got Medja.
shutting down this Udyr.
he got Medjais, and it's like,
Yeah, that's a bit BM as far as I know.
yeah,
Picking up Magic.
all for the Phoenix stance.
Yeah,
It's a pretty risky play here, but it's pretty gutsy play or itemization here from Paeng. It might pay off if he prevents himself from dying more. And they are actually going for a pretty strong power play here on this Baron. A lot of pings coming from MGS, of course. They tried their best not to trigger, but of course the shake is up. The missile came through, already secured it right under MGS's noses with the Scuttle Shrine there, just using the Blast Cone, I believe. Shadow Blaze not able to trade back the tower just yet, but able to really wear it down. Shadow Blaze has to get out of dodge though, because he's for sure gonna get taken down if he's not careful. But yeah, Baron from OBE under MGS's noses.
yeah. And if you're gonna ask me, the UPD's competition in terms of securing a Baron is not really the best. Because you have Ezreal as an AD carry, and it's not really the best AD carry when you're trying to finish a Baron, especially at this point of time. So it's only 20 minutes, 23 minutes, and medyo makonting Baron. But I don't know why. I mean, how they're able to finish that Baron under MGS noses. And I don't know how MGS is also able to secure those early objectives in
Mm-hmm.
the early game. So, ano kaya nangyari? I mean, first objective,
Mm-hmm.
MGS Mountain Drake they were able to secure Mountain Drake
Mm-hmm.
without getting detected. And the second time naman, they were able to secure MGS yung RH10 for the second time. And then the third time, yung UP Diliman. So it's the other way around. They were able to secure the Baron without ever contesting. So, di ko alam nangyari. It's a bit funny, but I think that gives UPD a bit of an advantage. I mean, a wool advantage in the late game, especially
They
yung
can.
yung carry nila, and that's a tank, by the way.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's just the patch we live in now. But I think how Oblation got to this point was they gambited the early two objectives, right? They gave away first Mountain. They gave away the first Drake, which was Mountain. They gave away Rift Herald, and I think Oblation Esports, Paeng especially, made a conscious decision to go, okay, let's let them take this. It's a investment for them. So let's get something that will give us something now. And because we got something now, like a kill now or a turret now, that lets us have a better position to contest everything after. Like all the other Drakes, Oblation took them. They didn't really care for the Rift Herald, but they got the Baron under them. They deceived the heavens to cross the sea, as the stratagem goes. They basically just use MGS's vision against them. They just went in, okay, let's just go blast cone into the Baron pit. They're not gonna be. They have the Scuttle Shrine, so that gives them like a false sense of security. They got uh, the Baron from there. But of course, MGS, they're an experienced team. They've gone through worse. This is only a 4K gold lead. They just have to be mindful of the soul point that is on OBE's side. And Hex Tech Soul is absolutely crazy for team fights, especially for MGS's comp. And of course, Oblation Esports is going to appreciate that. It's going to be harder to kite Paeng once he gets in with that Chain Lightning.
Yeah, I think as long as they're not giving the Soul Drake on the side of UPD, I think it's still winnable. 4K is not really
Definitely.
a sizable lead. It's still comebackable, no? But let's talk about their winning condition. So right now, we talked about earlier na isa sa mga winning conditions to MGS is for Hillary to be able to scale in the late game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when UPT got the Baron, medyo na-delay ng konti. At the same time, yung pressure ng Aurelia on the side lanes got denied for a bit because of that Baron power play. So right now, we're just banking on how this team composition, I mean, how are they able to execute this kind of team composition. So yeah, basically it's just waiting game, testing the waters mo sila. I mean, farm muna until the next objective.
Mm-hmm. If it comes to it, it might be necessary to skip Paeng, right? Like, of course, it's gonna be difficult. He's like a wall
Yeah.
that moves towards you. But look at this comp, right? They have Fiora, they have Wukong, and they have more. Also importantly, to round this out, they have the Kaisa, right? So if ever Paeng goes onto them, Invicta can possibly dive onto backside of the formation here, but it's gonna be possibly from the side here, fighting for the mid lane turret here of Oblation Esports. Teleport comes through. Is it be a 5-man? They are committing hard onto this. It does seem like they're just okay. They're picking up the objective bounty on the turret, but look at Paeng right now. He is unbothered. He is in his lane. He's trusting the rest of his teammates to be able to get this 4v5, not as a fight, but to delay it. And they do get the Drake, I believe. That's Soul.
Yeah, I think that's a good trade, no, coming from the UPT. Kasi even
Mhm,
though that they were able to give their first tower,
mhm,
it's a soul point, no, and
mhm,
incredibly big for them.
mhm,
And at the same time, no, looking at how Depsu itemized himself, no, versus this Udyr, Gargas, and there's a lot of armors right there. Tapos nagpick siya ng collector. So I'm just honestly unsure if this was the right itemization coming from
mhm,
Depsu. Kasi
mhm,
sobrang kulat yan eh. Udyr dealing as much as damage as other carries kahit na ganyan rin yung build niya. So I'm honestly unsure if kaya pa nilang patayin yung Udyr at
mhm,
this point.
mhm. I do think the serrated Dirk was to
Yeah,
try and match the like building into the collector is just to reach that breakpoint for the evolution on the Cathian Rain. But uh, it didn't really work out as you said,
yeah,
and not really enough to break through Paeng's tankiness right now. He already has Force of Nature, so he really is gonna have a Hillary's gonna have a much harder time taking Paeng down. So we were talking about earlier how MGS can deal with Paeng, who I think is a main threat here that enables the rest of the threats because of how you can't ignore the tank. The rest of the carries are able to get some free hits, a lot of free hits in, but you can't like break through the tank either because you don't have the tank busting potential. I think with a collector, especially with a collector in mind, just skip it. Just skip Paeng, bait him to go deep. Use Wukong to initiate on the back line, and then just congregate there. Killer instinct, pass Paeng onto the back line could be a potential play. They just have to not get caught by a body slam combo from Gaito.
yeah, that's true. And I think no, you build na collector from Kaisa. Initially, it's fine, but as long as you're able to really snowball yourself in the early game, I think that's totally fine. But in the UPD's end, no, of all people, yung tanky pa yung ano eh, yung tumaba eh. Odir was able to pick up Frozen Heart, Sunfire build, Mergice, and Nita Tabis, no. So if Hillary can deal as much as damage in the early game, then basically it's gonna be really hard for MGSN.
Yeah, and it does seem like OBE. They know that they're in the driver's seat. They have the soul, even though they're only 5k gold ahead. A lot of it is just concentrated on the right places. They're already at their power spikes, right?
Yeah.
And Hillary is going for Void Staff. Void Staff, of course, has been nerfed a little bit. Actually, it's a little nerf, but it's already substantial because of how tanky everyone got, right? So just building into these items that aren't the best, and he's still sitting on the Seeker's Arm Guard. Seeker's Arm Guard is like not an
Yeah.
item slot, right? Until it's a Zonia's, it's not an item, even with the 15 armor. So it does seem like MJS is still chasing those power spikes for them items. Meanwhile, Oblation is already enjoying the benefits of the comp's power spikes here, and they're actually already leveraging this Baron. No need for like side lane build up of the waves. They just need to go straight for it. Because they're actually taking this very very fast with the Bork on Draco Caesar, this Paeng, Paeng, and of course Slice still has decent enough damage as an AD carry, and they are able to get it without any contest. And MGS can't trade anything back, not even the tower.
Yeah, I think MGS has to understand that UPD will be always in the position to start the battle, no? And I'm unsure why NGS champions are allocated to the bot side of the map when the objective is actually the top side. Baron, we're 30 minutes in the game, 5k gold lead. So I don't think that maybe they shouldn't have given that ban for P. Siguro at least contest, try to poke, try to see if you're able to steal. Pero I don't think that totally giving that objective away is really great for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. This is a pretty good siege potential here from Oblation Esports, right? They have the quintessential Ezreal Karma. They have a frontliner that never dies, at least he hasn't yet. Kaito is Kaito's a wild card when it comes to the siege, right? Because you try to defend the siege, he just goes in where he still has a splash pad. You can go in with a body slam, wreck your formation with explosive cask, and either that buys them time to get the tower, or that allows them to dive you. with Paeng just taking all the turret hits, right? So it's very tough right now. MGS, all they can really do is wait and hope that they, and or rather not hope, make sure that Oblation doesn't get even more gold spikes from this, because earlier it was 4K, now it's 6K. They have to prevent it from ballooning to like full on 8K, 10K, because at that point Oblation is just gonna completely take over.
Yeah, I think
If they have it
from
already.
yeah, from I think from MGS end here, I think the only winning angle for them is just wait for UBD to choke siguro while they're pushing potentially on the inhibitor turrets, because even though that Hillary, let's say that he has a really good scaling in the late game, on the other hand, do see Slice, he's an Ezreal and he's able to pick up the Guardian Angel, so
Oh,
may
Shadow
skill din sila, not just Hillary, at the same time has that gold advantage, so
Yeah, Kaito here playing with fire. Good delay there by Kaito with the Zhonya's to just make sure that the rest of the cavalry arrives. But I think Shadow Blitz did the best he could. He kind of overextended, which was the first mistake. But in the end, he could have gone for the trade kill there. But Oblation Esports are going to go 40 turrets straight up, going for mid, going for quad. Now Paeng just diving deep into enemy territory. Lots of AoE damage coming through, having to back away. Turret is taken. And Cyclone being burned here. There's a big cooldown here from Invicta, and Paeng just does not care. He just goes in. He finally dies once. Loses those Magi stacks, but I think it's okay because I think the rest of Oblation is confident they can finish the game. And MGS, last stand here for Tepsu, and they get double stun with a flawless duet, and no, that is possibly going to be game here if they really cannot take out Vegas Caesar. But it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Shadow Blitz is up here. They can go over, they immediately get exhausted, able to kill two. Sliced though. Not it. Can he finish it? He just needs to E away and then hit the Nexus once, unable to do it. And with the Ravenous Hydra and the Gourd Rinker, they have enough AoE to clear the minions before the Winions take it away.
okay. So yeah, I think Shadow Blades here he took a risk kasi, no, since they know that UPD is trying to capitalize their bottom power play. So he took that risk, trying to kill that Gragas, but unfortunately it went the other way around. But medyo nag-asim ng UPD. It's just the next turret. It's you already have the bottom play. You already took the inhibitor on the bottom side, the top side as well. You got just two tower Nexus turrets at the same time. But it's just a matter of minutes before UPD can actually end the game here. But MGS being able to secure that Elder Drake makes it a bit harder for UPD to close the game.
And this is good for them.
Yeah.
Earlier I said, okay, they have to not make it an 8K gold lead. And they were able to do it. They got Elder, they reduced it down to a 3K gold lead, which at this point in the game doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
They deny the potential Elder for MGS, and if they, from OBE rather, and if another fight breaks out within the next minute or so, then they can leverage that trick that they got. And of course, for this one, MGS has been in this kind of situation before in Alliance games, right? In the previous game, they got pushed to the edge all the way to like inhibitor turrets, even Nexus turrets. But they held out, they used their veterancy, they used their experience to hold out and find the perfect mistake to capitalize on, right? They're just waiting, they're just holding out with their experience and waiting for Oblation Esports to make the wrong mistake. Not just any mistake, the worst mistake to make, right?
Yeah, I think that's really good for the MGS side now. So closing that gold lead gap. So from 8K, I think now we're down to 2K. They were able to get the Ezreal, Regas, and Udyr shot down, which is really good for them. And we were just talking about the Kai'Sa's build earlier. Na he wasn't really taking any armor penetration aside from Collector. But right now, he built those the last Whisper Lap. I think he realized that
It's mortal now, but it is going to be an immediate fight. Paeng taken down to below half HP. Lots of AoE damage coming through Invicta, having to back away. No flank coming in from this one. Let's see. Let's look at the ultimates. big ultimates burned here for MGS, Oblation Esports as well. But it does seem like they're setting up for this Baron. They're immediately going to make the call to go onto it while Depsu is low. They have some auxiliary vision around the mid lane onto this, so it does seem like they're going to be able to secure this without much contest because MGS, they need to deal with the inhib waves, the super minion waves here. Once again, it's going to be the Baron given to Oblation Esports. Let's see what they can do. If they don't finish it here, MGS has a good chance of turning this around one because they're already reaching their items, the items that they need here.
Yeah. So basically, this is the third uncontested Baron. But this time, I kind of actually medyo naintindihan ko na. I mean, they have inhibitors na nawala. So it is I kind of understand kung bakit nila ginib yung Baron, not unlike those two previous Barons before. So but like right now, it's really up to UPD. It's really up to them in regards to how they pressure the lanes, especially wala silang any turret na kahit anong present in the game. So yeah, I think right now they're able to finish the game na as long as they don't choke. Maybe wait for the Ezreal's Guardian Angel to proc muna before engaging the fight. Putting the lot on that top lanes as well. You know, just pressure and pressure until you wait for them to choke.
Kaito doesn't care. He's just going for it, and Fang comes in, doesn't care about the Cyclone. He is gonna get, but they are gonna get flanked here from the top side. Have to be careful. Arc's backing away. Shadow Blitz able to pick up the kill here, and Victa falling down. Lots of AoE damage coming through. Kaito comes in like a wrecking ball. And he's able to deal a lot of damage onto Hillary and Shadow Blitz, taking them down. Zonya's not going to be able to save him. The vitals are not proc. Draco Caesar comes around. That's going to be the Vanguard's Edge not hitting Dapsu. Final stand, unable to do it as Oblation Esports picks up game one at his best of three after a 37-minute game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you notice, no, last clash nila, actually Aurelia wasn't really present at the time, so that was only for B5. But I think mainly the reason why they were able to win is how Udyr was able to deal a lot of CCs, no, in stun nila at the same time, taking a lot of damage,
What is?
letting his teammate kill for him. So yun lang talaga yung role ng Udyr, just take a lot of damage, and yeah, I think he's a very annoying champion, and I don't know how will MGS be able to respond next game. They're gonna ban Udyr or not. If they find that they're really annoying, but at this game, I can say that Udyr is the MVP here.
Definitely. Uh, Definitely by the end, he was dealing a lot of AoE damage. I have to give it to Kaito also. Like his decision making as a top laner, as a Gragas there, on that AP Gragas build was on point. Of course, topside, a lot of things. I think the seminal moment there for that Gragas was the one that kind of secured the game end there because he was going, okay, you're trying to match my split push here. I'm just gonna go for your burst damage, keep you from running away, and then Paeng can flank, and then the rest of the fight plays out as we saw in the replay, right?
Yeah.
So wow, game one pa lang yun. That was just game one,
Yeah,
guys.
that's true. That's was game one. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting
Mhm,
that game would be that close. But like what you said kanina, no. So Fiora versus that Gragas, I think the main objective ng Gragas is to at least deny Fiora's potential side lanes, deny that potential inhibitor turret, and just stack that ability haste and annoy Fiora. And nakita natin kanina, natin niya entirely. Well, not really entirely. I mean, Fiora was able to secure the first tower on the top lane with the help of RH.
mhm,
But judging in the whole game, I don't think that they were really too able to capitalize Fiora's split push potential. Maybe because of the Odir too, no? So medyo yung threat din ng Odir, I
mhm.
think yung kahit nung mag 1v1 sila, I don't think Fiora has any chance versus
Yeah.
Odir with the Frozen Heart and Sunfire Cape.
Just too tough. But of course, this roster from Mapua University, Intramuros, Mapua Gaming Society Mages, they've been through worse, right? This is not their first rodeo. They are a very experienced team, and it showed. Even in that loss, it showed how well they were able to hold out. So I have a lot of trust that MGS is going to give us like a game three for sure. Yeah. Meanwhile, Oblation Esports is about how these phenomenal players are able to close this out as quickly and as strategically as possible. So I think right now let's take a moment to breathe. That was a pretty intense game, shorter than a lot of the other games we've had on Alliance games so far. But we have been your shoutcasters. I'm Hyron. With me was Vance. We'll be back after a very short break. Don't go away, fans.
I broke through my comfort zone and became more social.
In AcadArena, I break through my hardship and become more confident.
In AcadArena, I was able to break through my shy and timid self and turn into a student leader, kinda.
In AcadArena, before I was lost, but because of the org, I was able to find my passion.
Happy birthday, AcadArena. Continue breaking through the stigma of video games and academics.
Happy birthday to AcadArena. We look forward to all the great work you guys will be doing in the coming years.
Happy birthday, AcadArena. We hope you continue to support our industry and break the stereotypes of how student gamers can be.
Pinoys continue to dominate in esports globally. This startup aims to keep the streak going and provide education for those eyeing a gaming career. AcadArena secured over 170 million pesos for their projects. We get to know more about their initiatives with a young...
It's still crazy to think that it's been 3 years since AcadArena started. Today isn't just a celebration of our anniversary, it's a celebration of everyone who supported us along the way. We've had students who grew up with AcadArena, myself being one of them. We know what it's like to balance work and studies, and we know what it's like to feel like you're not going to make it. But you will, and it'll all be better. Break through with us.
This is Filippo.
This is Jessica.
Parehong freshies, parehong gamers. Gusto ni Filippo maging next big caster.
Si Jessica naman wants to make the biggest esports tournament in their campus.
But they don't know where to start.
They're also from different campuses
in different parts of the Philippines.
They would have never met. If not,
for AcadArena.
In AcadArena, we help students meet, collaborate, and learn all the hype and wonder ng gaming at esports.
Dito, naging caster si Filippo, even just for that afternoon. He met students with the same dream, attended our workshop, and we funded a tournament where they can debut.
That was Jessica's tournament. Inorganize niya ito with a student club in her campus na ginabayan namin all the way. And that's how they met. That's what we do here in AcadArena.
We turn gamers into leaders, casters, breadwinners. AcadArena, it's not just play.
Outside the game, I'd have a hard time making decisions and just go through life without any direction really. But when I'm in the game and as captain of the team, I have to make confident split-second decisions to lead our team and give us that direction we need to win the game.
I got my self-confidence when I become a radio jock for the university, and it basically developed my self-confidence to speak out loud to many people out there.
As an ate, you're supposed to know what to do. Minsan, parang hindi na pwedeng magkamali. Kasi ate ka eh, dapat you serve as an example for the younger ones. But as a student leader, that was not the case for me. I was allowed to make mistakes, learn, and do better. Just like how we encourage you, our Telecoms, to wear your stripes.
The community that we've built across the world have given us a place to belong. As the world becomes more connected, the opportunities will reach all corners of the world. I'm so excited to bring campus gaming across Southeast Asia.
Esports and gaming can be a great equalizer. Here, your physique doesn't matter too much. your sex and gender shouldn't matter. You have an avatar. You're just you and all the awesomeness that comes with it. It matters less which part of the world you're in. The world is bigger, and there's so much we can do together in gaming and esports. You just need to meet the right people to change the world.
In AcadArena, I broke through solo queue and became a team player.
In AcadArena, I broke through my comfort zone and became more social.
In AcadArena, I break through my hardship and become more confident.
In AcadArena, I was able to break through my shy and timid self and turn into a student leader, kinda.
In AcadArena, before I was lost, but because of the org, I was able to find my passion.
Happy birthday, AcadArena. Continue breaking through the stigma of video games and academics.
Happy birthday to AcadArena. We look forward to all the great work you guys will be doing in the coming years.
Happy birthday, AcadArena. We hope you continue to support our industry and break the stereotypes of how student gamers can be.
Pinoys continue to dominate in esports globally. This startup aims to keep the streak going and provide education for those eyeing a gaming career. AcadArena secured over 170 million pesos for their projects. We get to know more about their initiatives with a young...
It's still crazy to think that it's been 3 years since AcadArena started. Today isn't just a celebration of our anniversary, it's a celebration of everyone who supported us along the way. We've had students who grew up with AcadArena, myself being one of them. We know what it's like to balance work and studies, and we know what it's like to feel like you're not going to make it. But you will, and it'll all be better. Break through with us.
This is Filippo.
This is Jessica.
Parehong freshies, parehong gamers. Gusto ni Filippo maging next big caster.
Si Jessica naman wants to make the biggest esports tournament in their campus.
But they don't know where to start.
They're also from different campuses
In different parts of the Philippines.
they would have never met. If not,
For AcadArena.
In AcadArena, we help students meet, collaborate, and learn all the hype and wonder ng gaming at esports.
Dito, naging caster si Filippo even just for that afternoon. He met students with the same dream, attended our workshop, and we funded a tournament where they can debut.
That was Jessica's tournament. Inorganize niya ito with a student club in her campus na ginabayan namin all the way. And that's how they met. That's what we do here in AcadArena.
We turn gamers into leaders, casters, breadwinners. AcadArena. It's not just play.
Outside the game, I'd have a hard time making decisions and just go through life without any direction really. But when I'm in the game and as captain of the team, I have to make confident split-second decisions to lead our team and give us that direction we need to win the game.
I got my self-confidence when I become a radio jock for the university, and it basically developed my self-confidence to speak out loud to many people out there.
Welcome back, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, and our non binary friends. Welcome to the Alliance Games featuring League of Legends. We're at the winners' semis between Oblation Esports and MGS Mages, of course, from UP Diliman and Mapua University Intramuros. We'll be your shoutcasters for this game 2. I'm Hiron, with me is Vansu, and we just got back from a pretty spicy 37-minute game.
Yeah, I think right now, no, what we have to discuss is ano yung plans ng MGS for a comeback. At the same time, I think UPD has to understand as well na they have to not commit mistakes, especially in the mid to late game. Kasi it took 3 Baron in order for them to close that game. So if they want to win this without dropping any game, they have to respect MGS potential.
And meanwhile, MGS, they kind of got blindsided by everything that happened in that game, like Paeng just popping off, building Medjais, no, like the guts. I don't want to say disrespect, but the guts on that is definitely enough. But of course, they're an experienced team. We keep talking about how this roster has been together for quite some time. Shadow Blitz as well, back in action, they have the experience to get past surprises like these. It's really about whether Oblation Esports has more tricks up their sleeve or whether MGS is going to outlast them in the experience game as well. It happened against TUP for MGS, where they just use their built up skill and their experience to recognize, we've been in this situation before, let's just hold out, we'll find a weakness and let's strike at it. They weren't able to find the last game, but maybe this game will be their chance. Ari immediately banned here. Hillary is really focused in this early draft, and of course a lot of respect onto Draco Caesar as well.
Yeah, banning Ari on the first ban here, I think they just really respect Ari as a champion. You know, like what I said earlier, a lot of sustain from Ari, and at the same time damage output from early, mid, and late game. So that's how Ari is effective as a champion. And at the same time, MGS here, I think they also banned Ari from the last. I mean Akali in the last game. So I am unsure. Maybe I think it's a ban from Kaito. I mean, I think they are just respecting Kaito at this point from his Akali. So, yeah.
Draco Caesar as well. He had a very good Akali showing in our first game as well. But of course, Kaito's champion pool, he can pick it up. I haven't seen Akali topside in quite a bit, but of course he can pick it up if the draft needs it. And that's what Oblation Esports really, I think that's where their strength lies, where they're able to just have their players be very flexible, be very versatile, and more than that, they're able to draft thematic comps, not just like, this is a pick comp, this is a team fighting comp, right? They're able to pick up comps like the Fiddlesticks Wukong Sivir comp. That's a very specific application, a very specific tool where you're a death ball and you just want to roll towards the enemy. USD also had a comp like that, not like that, but also thematic with the Jarvan, Anivia, and the Azir. We're gonna have to see if Oblation Esports has more like that up their sleeve. Meanwhile, MGS banned Udyr. Oblation Esports doesn't really change their bans too much. They have the Darius and the Trundle banned out here.
Yeah, basically the same ban. We've seen that Darius and Trundle banned from the last game, no? So I think mainly the reason why they banned Darius is because of out of respect for Shadow Blitz. Because I think personally the playstyle of Shadow Blitz is kind of bruiser, tanky top lane. So mga siguro, I think Darius Poppy, I think I've seen his Poppy personally last time. So yeah, I think that's a personal ban. And like what I said earlier, no, I asked kung ano yung magiging answer ng MGS against UPD Paeng's Udyr, and right now we're seeing a Udyr ban. So they kind of figured out how annoying it is to face against Udyr with that gank potential, may CC, very tanky, deals a lot of damage. At the same time, yung clear yan ng jungler is really, really good. So yeah.
I do like this from Mages though. Oblation Esports, their first pick onto the Ezreal means that they are going for a similar kind of lane. They're on blue side, so they weren't able to leverage like a 1-2 punch where they pick two powerful picks that are very specific to their comp. They just have a priority Ezreal, which I don't think is the most spectacular, most bombastic first pick. MGS Mages though, I like this immediately locking in the Ashe. Ashe, we haven't seen her in a hot minute, but with the Seraphine, I think this is going to be a very tough lane depending on what Oblation Esports picks for their own support. Most likely it's going to be an Enchanter as well to match the poke that the Seraphine Ashe can bring out. Okay, no, it's going to be a Nautilus to cash out the Seraphine or the Ashe, plus the Fiddlesticks. Another Fiddlesticks here from Paeng. We've seen how scary it can be, but no Sivir to back it up just yet, but it seems like we're going to have a lot of CC from the Nautilus to block some people into the coast. It's going to be locked in here for mages.
Yeah, I agree with you. So Ezreal, not really the best pick, but we've seen Kaito play really well on Ezreal last game. So I think that's one of the reasons why they pick Ezreal. On the other hand, MGS here, they immediately pick Ashe and Seraphine for the bot lane. I think these guys have been watching KDF versus T1 on their last match, because I think KDF was the one who picked Ashe and Seraphine in the bot lane. It's a really annoying pick to go against with. So yeah, I think it's a pretty nice answer coming from the NGS. While on the other hand, UP Paeng, I think I've seen him play Fiddlesticks, like you mentioned earlier. So maybe it's one of his pocket picks. And a Nautilus pick here, so I think they're denying the engage potential on the bot lane. Because I think they answered Kaisa and Nautilus when they picked as earlier. So, just trying to limit the champions that are really against versus Ezreal. So yeah, I think that's nice. They're really thinking through in terms of what they're going to pick and what they're going to ban.
Yeah, this Olaf pickup here as well. I do think that most likely it's going to go to Shadow Blitz. It's we've been seeing a lot more topside Olaf than jungle, at least for this week for 12.12, especially with the adjustments from 12.11. So all powerful topside. But of course, if the Ornn gets locked in, that is going to tell us, okay, this Olaf is just going jungle. Still very powerful, decent.
Yeah.
Very fast clear, very good potential to ganks, especially. I shudder to imagine what kind of what would happen if Paeng like ganks topside. And Shadow Blitz is like, okay, I have Invicta with me, so it's like Fiddlesticks early game with Fiora. Could be lock in here for Oblation Esports, but could be the Gwen just as much. Gwen still very popular in the top side despite the being hit by the nerf bat a couple times. It's still Gwen is immune. That's still the name of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's talk about those two picks here. So Olaf and Ornn right here. We still can't discount the fact that Olaf and Ornn is still a flex pick. So Olaf can they can play it in the jungle at top side as well, and I think Ornn as well. I say like what I mentioned earlier. I think these MGS guys have been watching LCK, because what KDF did is they, as far as I know, they Ornn in the mid lane. At the same time, they have Ashe and Seraphine in the bot lane as well. So this kind of composition is quite similar to KDF. Maybe this is kind of inspired composition. I'm really unsure, but yeah, I think it's really good to see that these collegiate teams are still onto pro scene.
Yeah, paying attention. I'm more of an LPL guy myself. With only I just watch LCK when I'm free, but I do follow LPL instead. But yeah, it's always good because we don't, Filipino teams, especially collegiate teams, don't have a lot of opportunity to scrim with foreign teams, other Southeast Asian teams, and it's really good to have that resource be okay. Let's look at pro. Let's see what they're doing. Let's learn from that. It's just a little bit tough because usually, if you're playing in a tournament in the Philippines, you're usually looking at pro play one patch behind, right? Because usually they have TR, we don't have TR. But in any case, learning from other regions is definitely something that the best of the League of Legends teams and Alliance games are definitely doing. But here it is going to be the Ornn in the mid, Olaf still in the jungle, and of course to match that Gwen in the top side is going to be Shadow Blitz. Don't care about that Hallowed Mist. They're going to be fighting in that circle. It's going to be a mini battle royale between Kaito and Shadow Blitz.
Yeah, a lot of team, I mean, late game scaling composition here from the side of MGS. No, so they have that Ornn mid at the same time set up in a, and Ash in the bot lane. So it's gonna be a bit hard to contest that dragon. But let's see how it goes because they are against with Tryndamere and Ezreal and
just noticed.
yeah,
I
so
just
it's
noticed the
basically
Tryndamere mid.
Tryndamere versus Ornn. So I think the win condition here is if Tryndamere is able to kill Ornn in the early to mid game, because anyway, Ornn is really tanky. It's quite a bit hard to kill Ornn, and if he builds like a Frozen Heart or something, Draco Caesar is gonna really have a hard time killing that Ornn. So siguro you just have to go sidelines in the late game because you can't lane versus Ornn. It's really hard. So I really hope that Paeng is able to help Caesar here in this game. But knowing that he picked Fiddlesticks in the jungle, no, it's gonna be quite a bit hard. Kasi he's gonna go full clear in the early game, wait for that level 6, and potentially siguro after that then he's able to gank. But let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, it could also be, as you said, side lanes might be the priority here. Make sure the balance of the scales between the Gwen and the Fiora tips to one side decisively. And I think that's going to be one big part of how the early game plays out. Of course, I like this from the mages, right? As you mentioned, Seraphine with the Ashe actually being on admit here is going to be extremely annoying to lane against. I think that can only be matched. That kind of annoyance can only be matched by Seraphine Lux bot lane, where they do their combo and just layer all the stuns on top of you. The Ashe, especially post 6, is going to be a pain to deal with in this bot lane. It's going to have to be a lot of pressure on arcs here to make something happen because both of these are not too mobile. If they get caught out, it might be the start of a snowball here from Slice, and he is on that cleanse just for this matchup.
Yeah, as you mentioned, so they're not too mobile. So one of the win conditions here of UPD is if they are able to shut down Dapsu and admit in the early game. Kasi if you take too long to shut this down, Seraphine has a heal to sustain in the bot lane, and I don't think UPD Slice and Arxen would be able to survive against the poke potential of Ashe and especially Seraphine. So it's gonna be really hard in terms of their laning phase. But then again, that's where Paeng would come in. So they have to help Slice and Arc shut down those Seraphine and Ashe and give them an early advantage like he did earlier.
I do think Draco Caesar also has a part to play in this on that Tryndamere. If he can't get a kill on the Ornn, Tryndamere can actually do very well in just diving post 6. Go for like a 3v2 dive top side or 3v1 if Shadow Blitz is really unlucky with Invictus rotations, or a 4v3 bot side. And he's basically like a free, I can take like 3 turret hits. Man, that's a lot of time, especially with how much stronger turrets are post durability patch. He has the Ghost, could marginally help him catch up and match any or go for any roams as well. And he is on that. He is of course going to go for just the E reset, the spinning / reset build, and that's going to be really helpful and finishing off these kills here when they go for these dives post 6. So I think that's the priority here for Paeng and Draco Caesar, is use the numbers to their advantage and abuse the parts of their kits that are really exploitable, like the unkillable from the point and click fear, the unkillable from Tryndamere, and of course the immunity. The Gwen is immune, classic, and of course we got Devsu here, Shun and Adya, Jay with his classic pose. Slice, just cool esports pose. The visual of UPD, and we have loaded onto the game here. No fancy tricks at level 1.
Yeah, that's true. But taking a look at the composition right here, kasi I think the best way para manegate yung Tryndamere is not to give him any kills. Because taking a look at how MGS composition, wala silang instant CC, they only have exhaust, so it's gonna be really hard for them to keep the Tryndamere at bay. Kasi it's Tryndamere, and like you said, like what I said, medyo no-brainer yung tinya, that's 5 seconds free hit for you. So just, yeah, Tryndamere, medyo mahirap yan.
Looking at Invicta though, very early, just going straight into the Raptor camps here as well, stealing away a buff from Paeng. It does seem like Oblation Esports was able to kind of suss out from the ward that they have around red side. So maybe Paeng can go for a vertical jungler here, but the thing is, his clear is not going to be as fast as Olaf. So Invicta, knowing this, just goes straight for his own red buff. Make sure Paeng is just left in crumbs for his jungle here, pretty much, while he's just living well. Meanwhile, Drake Caesar coming up, lots of damage coming through, almost gets the kill here. Oh no! Kind of chokes the spinning slash there, and gives first blood over to Hillary. Unfortunate and unnecessary.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think this is a lesson learned from MGS, no? Kasi judging by how Paeng played earlier from his Odir, he basically just cleared his all of the jungle camps. So I think medyo na-realize na MGS, so that's why they decided to counter jungler instead.
Oh, he yoinked it.
Oh, I think he got the red buff.
But I think it's going to get returned here. But it might be a double kill onto Draco Caesar. Sacrifice the life of Invicta. This is going to be a 3v1. Can Draco Caesar pick it up? Gets the kill, gets the double buffs, has to burn everything pretty much. And he's left level 2 against level 3. He does have the double buffs, which is going to help him out a little bit, plus his fillable pot, but it's still rough. MGS knows that they have to take down Paeng, keep him from getting his level 6 as much as possible.
Yeah, that's just really unfortunate coming from the MGS, no? Kasi Olaf already had a lead just by getting UPD's red and Raptors at the same time. Pero for some reason, UPD Paeng was able to kill that red. And medyo napapangit pa kasi it's a
flashed for it.
Yeah. And it's a 1-for-1 trade. But at the same time, you mentioned earlier na si Tryndamere, that was really unnecessary because Tryndamere has a sustain. His Q would be able, he would be able to survive his lane just by yung Q niya skill, and si Ornn wala naman siya masyadong sustain. So I think it's best if he just pressured his lane, wait for Ornn to choke. And right now, it's gonna be a bit hard for him to kill Hillary here kasi meron na siyang Sunfire. What do you call that?
The Pommy Cinder, yeah.
The Pommy Cinder, yeah. So it's a bit challenging lang for Tryndamere here kasi he died one time basically.
The double loss kind of salvaged his own lane at the cost of Paeng's clear. We're just gonna have to see how well they cope from that one. At the very least, I do think that Draco Caesar isn't too phased by that first blood. A little bit too antsy in the initial flash in, but knowing them, I think their mental isn't too shaken from that one. Meanwhile, MGS, they're very calm, collected. Okay, we lost red buff. That's fine. Let's trade back a kill. And MGS, they're just showing how cool they can play this off. They do have a pretty solid. The top lane is kind of a stalemate. Bot lane, nothing much has happened. It's really the mid lane where most of the action is happening.
Yeah, that's true. Basically, kasi their composition in bot lane is just scaling, so they just have to farm, wait for their jungler to gank. So medyo farm in the bot lane at the same time, top side as well. Farm sila, and really action here is only in the mid lane and the jungler as well. So Tryndamere died kasi because of his carelessness, did not respect the orange damage at the same time, yung third damage. So instead of getting that kill, medyo nag-backfire pa sa kanya. But it's just a bit setback kasi I think UPD still has a tempo, from winning the first game. So they just have to be calm and collected para makabawi. But on the other hand, yung jungler, medyo maraming action. It's Fiddlesticks. It's not supposed to be like that. Kasi when you're Fiddlesticks, dapat farm and farm for 6, and then you gank. But since yung Olaf, medyo counter jungler in the early game, he knew that he has advantage. Yeah, very clever actually. They learned from their first game that UPD Paeng is like medyo gusto talagang clear ng camps. So they learned from it and they took advantage. Pero unfortunately, yung red medyo na still lang. So Yeah, but I think it's fine. Olaf was able to get one kill. Si Paing wala pa. When Paing is the biggest threat here so far.
And I do think he is going to have to give up a cannon minion here. Yeah, that's pretty big here. It's all the little details, all right. Where 50 gold, that's probably gonna put Draco Caesar back. He does have 1700 or 1700 built up here. Just so he hasn't recalled yet. That's why he's not dealing any damage to Hillary, and he doesn't really have a teleport to go back. So he needs to find a really good back timer. Paeng might be the one that needs to give him that, but it does seem like there's Goring, the Scuttle around the corner, Kaito, and Paeng here. It does seem like Kaito is actually it's very even. The wave's just about to crash onto Shadow Blitz, so and it's gonna end up even in this top side. So nothing has blown up in his top side yet, and meanwhile in this bot lane, I think they're just very satisfied with Defsu. Both of them just building up their tiers, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. Just waiting for them to scale basically. But here in the mid lane, that's true. Kindemer doesn't have really damage at the moment, but I think he is able to build at least a Noon Fever right now. No? So when he goes back and come back in the lane, I think medyo at least may damage na. But you know, it's Ornn. Medyo makunat pa rin yan. Still, I don't think medyo mo 1v1 ng Ornn, especially right now na nagkaroon ng kill yung Ornn at the moment.
Oh, Hillary, he is level 6, so he's kind of angling for something bot side, maybe if Oblation Esports over commits onto something, or just go Drake as well, because they know Draco Caesar can't really make something happen around Drake's side, right? He has to recall here because he doesn't have items. He has to wait for, basically because of how he doesn't have teleport here, he has to wait for Hillary to recall. So, but the thing is, Hillary is on Ornn, right? So, recalling is less of a concern for Hillary, but of course, Tear of the Goddess being built here, building that later into a Fimbulwinter, just really the longevity in these fights. Caesar is treading dangerous ground here. I think Arx is here not to really get a kill, but just to force Hillary to go for a recall so Draco Caesar can have space for his own item buy. The important thing here is the Drake hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think NJS was not really in a position to get that Drake earlier, no? So I think that was just a right call coming from Invicta. Kasi although Ornn has a lane priority in the mid lane, still yung bot lane nila doesn't really have a good wave. So at the same time, Fiddlesticks in the bot lane, so once they are spotted, they're going to be really in a top spot. So I think that's just a good call. But right now, they're going on that dragon. They know that they had the advantage. They know that Ornn has an ultimate. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
It does seem like they're taking it very, very quickly, and Paeng doesn't seem too concerned. He's not even level 6 just yet. So he's just about to get it right now. Well, possibly they could trade this for maybe a gank top side, but he is under a ward, so MGS knows, okay, he just got his... He's probably on top side, but did he even path where the ward was is the question. Let's see how Shadow Blitz moves here. Gonna channel the Crow Storm immediately into the fear here. Lots of damage coming through. Can he parry? The parry gives him time to go to the backside, and they take out Shadow Blitz. It does seem like that ward did not spot out Paeng because it was not in the right spot to see him taking blue and Gromp at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. I think he went for what do you call this? Blast Cone. So I think he went through that. That's why he wasn't able. He wasn't spotted at the time. But I think that's a good call from UP Diliman, because they knew that MGS just took a dragon, so they have to do a cross map play. So there's a very limited time that you can do that. Kasi all of is to recall, maybe get those neutral camps. So medyo limited time lang to make a move, but seeing how Eng did that, I think they did it beautifully naman. They were able to get a trade, but not the best trade if MTS got a dragon in trade the kill lang.
Yeah, but I do think kill is very much worth it for Kaito. That gives him like 300 gold edge, which is around the long sword's worth. I guess for Kaito it's like 3/4 of an amp tome, which might mean the difference between life and death in the lane. Like this nice parry on the snip snip. No immunity, because this is a battle royale within the circle, right? So Kaito still loses out on that trade. I think Invicta takes this as a cue to go, especially since Paeng doesn't have his ulti right now. So He's just able to go in for Ornhorn, coming out onto Raptor Camp. Arx finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, gets taken out, and he picks up the kill. Must be with Herald for MGS.
Args did not really respect those CC, no. So you have that Ornn ultimate, Seraphim ultimate at the same time, Ash ultimate, so that's all long range, no. And Nautilus isn't exactly the champion that has mobility. So even though he burnt his splash, still he died pa rin kasi ang daming skills and daming CC. So I think what Hillary is doing right here, is just keeping Ornn at bay. Kasi while they're doing a skirmish on both side of the map, nakuha ni Invicta yung RH. So that went really good for them.
But Oblation doesn't seem too phased by it, despite that kill. They're just leveraging a little bit of a lead, most of it concentrated on Paeng. Despite being counter-jungled early by Invicta, he has found, because Invicta has been looking for ganks and rotating around the map looking for opportunities, Paeng is just, okay, I'll just be on my Sigma grind set and keep farming despite the early setback, right? And in this bot lane, just a longsword's worth of lead here for Slice, not too big. It's mostly concentrated on Paeng. And I think the next Drake is really where they're going to be starting once, of course, Paeng has his Crow Storm by now, so, and they are on blue side with Fiddlesticks, so MGS has to be more careful with their Drake takes, because if they don't have sufficient vision, they do have sufficient vision right now, but if Oblation Esports is able to deal with that, then it's going to be a recipe for a Crow Storm over the wall, Arcs and Slice being able to flank.
Yeah, that's true. What I think what MGS has to do is, before you start any objectives, maybe Ares or Dragon next, they have to control the map first, because the threat from Paeng is really high, especially with that Fiddlesticks pick. Yung Crow Storm is AoE, same time that has CC, at the same time too, malaki yung damage niyan, so they have to respect that. But at the same time, MGS has a... Okay.
I don't think anything happened.
Yeah, not even burning the flash from Shadow Blitz. But yeah, I think UPD here has to respect MGS composition as well. Kasi a lot of CCs coming from MGS composition, EU as well. So yeah, I think it all boils down to how they are able to control the map whenever they start an objective.
And right now, Draco Caesar isn't really a champion. Having to get Cloak of Agility and Zerx Greaves means that his damage isn't really there. So MGS, they can take this opportunity to take advantage of this for the next few minutes before Draco Caesar is able to build that up into a proper item. And it does seem like they aren't leveraging it too hard. They're finding advantages here and there. They're getting one kill or another, but they're not really they haven't really done anything to break the kind of stalemate that we have right now. But I do think that MGS is fine with that for now. They don't need to do anything too bombastic, since they can just wait for Depsu and admit to be ready for these team fights with Hillary.
Yeah, I think both of the teams doesn't really have a sizable advantage, so that's why I think that's one of the reasons why they're not making any move at the moment. So maybe they're just waiting for objective, waiting for a opportunity to engage, especially with that kind of composition. So right here, we're looking at MGS trying to take over the Dragon side of the map. UPD, medyo late siya. So I think this is free for MGS. Yeah. Because I think they also
either.
They also realized na, hey, may mythic items sila, and all at the same time. And right now, Tridemar is just really scaling, waiting for his item to build
his Gale Force, basically.
Yep, Gale Force or Kraken. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's gonna be Gale Force at this point, because wala masyadong mobility in Tridemar, and he has to have that extra dash sa Tridemar. It's pretty OP.
Yeah, and of course, during that break, there was no Crow Storm to be worried about, so MGS, they're pretty confident getting 2. This is actually a pretty good for them, because if they can control the next Drake, they're already at Soul Point, and they're going to be pressuring OB. And with the Ocean Rift as well, this is actually going to be very scary for both of them. They're going to have to double up on their vision, because both of these teams can really take advantage of the extra brush. Like, you can get caught by unengaged for MGS at any moment, and of course Paeng will really love all of this free camouflage.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, like what you mentioned, so this is already Soul Point coming from the MGS end, but I think UPD this will be up for contention kasi, they can just give the soul point daily. So I think by the time that Dragon comes up next, meron sigurong item to Tryndamere and Ezreal Nautilus as well. No, so I'm really looking forward to how how of the both teams will be able to execute their composition kasi of them as a really really good engagement. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit too overzealous here. He's gonna get flanked by Invicta. He does not have his flash, and the rest of his team wasn't there to really follow up. So a little bit too rash, a little too reckless there from Oblation Esports gets caught. And I think because of that death by Paeng, that might set up for either a counter jungle from Invicta on red side or just a full-on dive. And I do think that's what they're setting up right now. Meanwhile, 1v1 onto the top side. Shadow Blitz dive, Slice can come through here. Can he live? No, Invicta picks up the kill with a reckless strike. Arts is going to be next on the shopping block. And Kaito picks up kills, so it's a 1-for-2 across the map, but with 4 members bot side, this might be a very easy turret take. Plus, of course, the farm being taken by Invicta, so it's going to be turret for turret, 1-for-2, and caps here. So MGS edging out the victory overall in these trades.
Yeah, I think Paeng was really a bit overextended there. Siguro hindi pa masyado prepared yung Ezreal and Nautilus at the same time. But when they killed Paeng, they saw this as an opportunity para i-power that important thing. So they realized it and they took it na, hey, wala silang jungler.
Wow.
And Ornn and Olaf was hovering the bot lane. So yeah, they basically took the opportunity and they got a trade. Although and Shadow Blitz here died 1v1 the top lane, and UPD Draco Caesar here was able to secure first tower on the mid lane. So even though that they were able to kill Slice, Arcs, and Paeng in the bot lane, still not the best trade in terms of gold. Kasi right now, CW solid the gold on the mid lane. So he got a couple of waves sa mid lane at the same time all those turret gold. So I think what they have to watch out for is Draco Caesar's potential to kill. Yung damage output ng Tryndamere.
Has the Kraken Slayer.
Kraken Slayer now.
I think at this point he kind of decided, okay, I don't need the Gale Force because the backline targets aren't really mobile, and I want to be fighting in the middle of everything. They will come to me. Like Invicta and Hillary and Shadow Blitz will come to me.
Yeah.
What his thinking is here, and they are. He's gonna go for the Rift Herald. Will Mages go for the contest is the question. Nope, it does seem like they're gonna be getting this relatively cleanly. And actually, in the trade earlier, it ended up becoming 2-for-1 on turrets and 1-for-1 on kills as well. So it kind of evened out in the end. And as you said, in the little details, MGS kind of won there because that was solo gold for both Draco Caesar and Kaito for the turrets. So. Oblation Esports in the detail. The devil is in the details, as they say. Let's see how this all plays out once the next rig spawns in the next minute. That's gonna be Gold Drinker for Invicta being picked up. Mythics all around. Slice has not gotten his, and I do think he's just gonna have to take a couple CS, but I don't think he will have it ready for the Drake fight.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think what NGS has to watch out for right now is just Tryndamere. No? So Tryndamere with the Kraken Slayer and with that goes as well. No, it is kind of unstoppable at the moment. Kasi MGS doesn't really have a good CC for Tryndamere. And with Tryndamere accumulating a lot of gold sa mid lane kanina when they were having a skirmish in the bot lane, medyo malaki yun for Tryndamere. So they just have to watch out for it.
They're giving away Soul Pressure here for the next Drake in exchange for a possible take onto mid lane, but out comes Enchanted Crystal Arrow, out comes the Encore as well. Teleport comes through. The floor cannot stop that. Slice and R's kind of behind enemy lines. They do have the benefit of the warrant here because it's Kaito going onto Invicta. The Berserker will fall. And meanwhile, Slice and R's kind of just chilling. They do have the vision to keep Admit and Death Suit from taking them out. It's going to be the Dredge line sacrifice 1-for-1 here. The Gambit comes through. Flash is burned. Teleport comes in from Shadow Blitz. Slice signal to leave. Cleanses away. But he is going to end up dying to Shadow Blitz in the end. So it is a 3-for-2. MGS gets the better end of the deal there, and they maintain dominance over this bot side as early. still able to match the Kraken Slayer of Draco Caesar.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think even though MGS was able to secure the soul coin, I don't think it's really the ideal pick for them. Because you have this Tryndamere on the side of UPD, and I think unparalleled at the moment yung side lanes or split push capabilities ng Tryndamere. Kasi you're looking at Shadow Blitz Fiora. So only one to the moment and Triforce pa lang yung build. So if you put these two in the side lanes, medyo mahirapan yung MGS. And especially when that RH was able to get a hit on the third tower sa mid lane, no? So it increases the chance of Tryndamere potentially threatening their inhibitor turret at this early point of the game. So, they just really have to watch out for Tryndamere's ability to split push sa game na to. Kasi right now, they're winning without Tryndamere. Medyo mahirap yun kasi what more if Tryndamere joins this matches.
Oh, it's gonna be the fears coming through. Paeng though, can he suck the life before he gets taken out? And Victa able to finish him off, but he himself gets taken out. And that is gonna be 2 kills for Oblation. And it does seem like, are they pinging Baron is the question. It does seem like they're just gonna establish some vision dominance around this area and set it up for later. A little bit too hasty. They're not really in a position. Slice though. Seems like once they get some alone time with this tower, Hillary's gonna have to defend this with his life. It does seem like Slice just needs to back off, knowing that there's someone to defend.
Yeah, true. I don't think that UPD at the moment is in the position to threat that Baron kasi UPD can basically died it. So what they're doing right now is getting that couple of trips sa bot lane, sitting the sides, just split pushing, getting that towers one by one, and potentially getting that inhibitor then in the next fight. So it's still a win for UPD at least.
And they're not they're okay giving up some of these kills as well. They take 2 kills, they back off, they just let all of the aggro go onto them while Draco Caesar just kind of slowly scales up. Already has the Nabori quick blades here, so every fight, this is actually a pretty big parse fight because this means he's gonna have more spinning slashes across a fight, just especially the more he stays in a fight, the more spinning slashes he gets here. And the more spinning slashes and kills he gets, the more healing he has access to with the Q. So, Draco Caesar engine kind of coming through unchecked.
Yeah, that's true. Caesar here building that Navori blade gives a lot of damage at the same time ability. Kasi whenever his normal hit crits, it gives him less CD on his third skill. So, it gives a lot of threat, especially versus Seraphine and Ash that doesn't have really any mobility, only exhaust, but I don't think that's sufficient to keep the mare at bay. So, it's just really up to Draco Caesar's ability to threaten their carries. But I think next objective, UPD has to fight this
They
one.
have to.
So they've been giving a lot of objectives freely sa MGS, but at this point, it's already Soul Dragon. And I don't think there's any reason to give this one, especially when they have the gold lead, they have the priority over all of the lanes, they have the control over the side and bottom of the map, and they also have that engage from Paeng na it's a fiddlesticks, and the engage from the fiddlesticks is really threatening versus the composition of MGS here.
Yeah, we also have to take into account Gaito here, which is around a blasting wand's worth ahead of Shadow Blitz, so he might be able to leverage that as well. Teleports are up for both of them, but this is Soul. They have no space for margins of error with a teleport here, so just gonna go straight, draw the lines here on the Drake pit, see who's gonna be able to take them up. I think it's just waiting around the wings here. It's just literally waiting for a chance to go for the call to go in with his ulti. And now MGS needs to. They don't have vision, right? So it's really a question of can they predict when Paeng is going in?
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
They just have to make some space here on the right side. Yeah.
It's just boils down to when are they able to predict that Paeng is going in. Kasi if they're able to bait Paeng with Paeng's ulti, basically you can render Paeng useless, no? So I think that's what
coming out. That's gonna be close from being challenged. On to 4. Lots of AoE damage. That Paeng goes down immediately. No chance for damage to build up. Arx is being the bulwark here for Slice. Slice finishes him off before Arcs goes down. That's going to be the Dredge line being able to use here. Good damage coming in from MGS. Draco Caesar comes in, unkillable, invincible, able to heal himself. Has to back off though. Hillary, he's looking for it. Admit as well. Enemy lines, he can't do much as the Ash, just with the mandate. I think Slice is hunting for him. They take the Drake, deny the soul, pick up 1 for 3 here. It looks like they're hunting Kaito. He's gonna snip through. And Hillary, I don't think he wants to fight this, or does he? He does have the ability to take some damage out. No immunity because they're in that circle. I think Kaito just needs to snip. Nope. The bellowing breath is not enough to take him out. Let's take this replay down.
Yeah, I think MJS could have played that better, no? Because they already know Paing's position, and they already know that Fiddlestick is gonna come from that location. But at the same time, it looks like they did not anticipate it. Because going by how Paing was able to engage, was able to get 4-man ulti from Fiddlesticks, that turned a lot of tide. I mean, yung advantage ng UPD just because of that engage from Paing was really sizable lead. They were able to give UPD a sizable lead just because of that. So props to Paeng. He was able to engage really perfectly at this time. Kasi early to mid game, they weren't really relying to Paeng's capability to engage. No? Kasi I think he was at least the early game medyo poor yung engage. But at this point, when it really mattered, kasi Soul Point, at the same time may Baron, that's when he's able to come back. So that's the very stellar engage coming from Paeng.
And I think Paeng knows that. He's not here to be a big damage threat, kill everyone while the Crow Storm is up. Because if he was going that route, he would have gone like something like Dark Harvest, right? He's on Glacial Augment, which he is like giving up the control of the damage to Draco Caesar and Slice and Kaito. Because that's enough. For Oblation Esports, that's enough. For them, the utility that the Glacial Augment and the Inspiration Tree gives them is much more than extra damage from Paeng here. Just basically diminishing the turns. But at this point, they get the Baron. They get a 6k gold lead. The big swing from MGS kind of being able to dictate the pace here around these Drake fights. Now it's going to be Oblation Esports knocking on MGS's door. On their tower is still very, very dangerous. Lots of damage coming through onto Kaito. Ornhorn comes out. Arcs has the dredge line away, gets knocked up. Depsu finishes him off. Meanwhile, mid lane, Draco Caesar, he's just unbothered, going straight to it.
Yeah, I think this is what we're talking about earlier. See, yung capability ni Draco Caesar to push all those turrets is, medyo mahirap talaga eh. Especially when you take a look at MGS composition. There's barely any CC, and not really the best CC para sa kanila. So, and at the same time, UPD Paeng, I think he understands his assignment. So at this point, I think hindi siya magiging entirely carry because you have that in the mid lane. Kahit ay Ezreal on the bot lane at the same time when on that top lane. So he understands na these kind of champions has ability to carry. So at this point, he's just really a setter. And I think he was able to deliver it naman.
I do
but
think
at the same
that...
time,
Yeah, go ahead.
UPD could have played it a bit well sana because, Baron pressure pa lang eh. So if you have a Baron power play, you have to wait all of your trips to crash. But at this point kasi kanina, medyo overextended yung bot lane nila for a bit. And MGS saw that opportunity to engage because, yung biggest threat nyo is in the mid lane, it's Tryndamere. And then when they saw that Tryndamere is in mid lane, hey, this is the time para mag-engage. And yeah, basically just denying that Baron power play. They could have played it better, but still, they are still they still have good golden advantage. 6k, 28 minutes a game. So I think it's fairly okay lang.
And really, the question here is whether MGS can really deliver on the comp that here. They have a lot of utility. They're basically making Shadow Blitz and Invicta the bulk of their damage here, and Defsu as well, with a little bit of artillery fire being able to kind of wear down Kaito at this point. But looking at it, Draco Caesar has built up a Swiss bank's worth of gold here, and Kaito 7-0-1. He hasn't had like a superstar showing, but he's just all around very, very solid, right? Like, he played the lane perfectly. He waited for his jungle. He was able, after that, he was able to leverage that one gank, that like amp tomes worth of gold, into dominating the lane into 7-0 and 1 here. And with Blake coming up, they could get caught out of position here. Encore not hitting. That's big. Meanwhile, topside, Shadow Blitz trying to take down Kaito Team with low health as possible. In comes Paeng with the Crow Storm. Draco Caesar picks up the kill on Depsu. Shadow Blitz trying to be the hero for his team, taking a lot of damage from Paeng, having to run away. Draco Caesar does not care. Spinning slash in. It's coming through. The Rage. The Quadra. That is going to be UPD's mid laner picking up that 4K. Denying Soul once again. And setting up the wave mid. They are probably going to get this inhib. They get 2 ranks of Ocean, and is just all around very, very good for Oblation Esports.
Yeah, initially I don't think that TBD was in a position to clash there. But when Kaito saw the opportunity to teleport in the bot lane, hey, maging 4v5 no, I'm gonna be there early. But unfortunately, medyo nawalan siya ng health. But at the same time, UPD's Paeng, in case was just spectacular. No, I think he was able to get 2 carries of from MGS, Dapsu, and that flank coming from Caesar, the Trindemer, no? So this is what we're talking about earlier. So no one can stop Trindemer right now, especially with that items, with that level. Is only level 17, my ghost and all. So I think yun talaga eh. Even though that MGS here, medyo panalo sila sa long extended fights because of their pick, still, kaya kasing patayin kagad ng UPD. So with their brutal strength kagad, they can just bulldoze with that Tryndamere pick.
That does seem to be the case here. And man, they are really leveraging this hard here. Oh, nice cleanse there from Slice, immediately getting out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Now Ark's kind of in trouble here. Can he make as much space as he can for his team? In comes Susha Rush, in comes Clothestorm, Invicta trying to run away. The Ragnarok is enough for him to get away indeed. And that is, no, not enough rather. And that is going to be big. Jungler goes down. Baron is up. MGS, they know that this is going to be a Baron take if they don't leave it alone. So they are going to try 4v4 here. Arcs is down. No jungler. They just need to take out key targets here from MGS.
True.
In comes Enchanted Crystal Arrow with a very fast cooldown, but already Kaito bombing in hot, diving the backline. Nino Slice also dives in with his arcane shift. Defsu left as the only survivor. Is gonna have to TP back and cancels it with a fear. And this should pave the way for Oblation Esports. 30 seconds on death timers on Shadow Blitz. Admit and early is Invicta enough here. Can they cancel the port? They do. Depsu is still stuck. Paeng gives his life for the cause. But Kaito and Slice, they don't have backup. It's just them trying to take out the Nexus turrets. They don't have enough. The cavalry is not enough indeed. And it seems like Depsu on Seraphine is able to just 1v1 the Arcs out of position. So valiant try there by Oblation, but it seems like MGS is able to defend, survive for a little bit longer, and Baron is still up.
Yeah, I think the Arc by this time should be able to learn na Nautilus Champions isn't really that mobile. Kasi he got caught from the Raptors earlier. Basically from the same champion, Seraphine and Ashe. But even though that he was caught out, it still went from for UPD's favor. Kasi they knew that they had an upper advantage. Kasi basically, it's a trade between a jungler and a support. So they understood that they are in a position to threaten a Baron and potentially turning going for a turn. Kasi they had advantage. And that went really smooth for them. Even though that Tryndamere was Tinder died and they got the shutdown. Still, getting that inhibitor in the mid lane, getting that few CS and tidings and
Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
Yeah, picking up that a lot of items from Ezreal, no. So instead of they're getting Baron now, and I don't think
they're getting Baron very fast.
Yeah,
and no contest there, and MGS couldn't really commit to an interrupt there or even just wipe them out. Okay, let them take Baron, but kill like 4 of them. That would have been worth. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, as fast as the cooldown was, it whiffed hard. onto behind the Baron pit there, and Oblation Esports basically took that as, okay, let's continue this. They don't really have a way to interrupt us. I mean, they have Encore, they have Ornhorn, but it's not going to be enough without that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Drake coming up in less than a minute. They can prep for that. Indeed, they have the vision control. Looks like they're going to be assuming dominance here with an 8k gold lead, looking for possibly a pick off. They do get spotted out, and I think they're just going to have to push the side waves.
Yeah. I think this is basically what happened in the first game as well. They were able to secure that second Baron, and I think it's okay lang na call coming from the NGS. I mean, Olaf doesn't have a flash at the moment, so medyo mahirap mag-steal kasi you have to go all the way through the Baron pit. If you're na Olaf, you're not Taliesin, you can go in and out. But at the same time, it's not really the best from MGS kasi they weren't really in a position para at least go check that Baron. Kasi UPD controlled the Baron pit na and they knew that there isn't really any wards or any contest kasi MGS is not in a position all over the map. Medyo cluttered sila. And UPD understood that. And, they get the Baron. They're doing the Baron power play right now. And potentially getting that inhibitor credit. So
they're going for a game end here.
Yeah.
They're looking for a fight to finish this 2-0. They got 3 stacks of Ocean Drake ticking. The longer the fight goes, the longer they can survive here. Can Defsu's healing? Can the rest of them actually keep up with that? They're just pushing in the sideways, going top side here. Kaito, is he gonna go? He gets exhausted here. That could mess up his game, but in comes Spying with a Crow Storm. Slice picks up the kill. He flashes over to chase the rest of them. Ornhorn doesn't come through. Defsu is gonna be next on the chopping block. Draco Caesar is diving deep. Kill the back line. And this is going to be Italy trying to survive. Beat him much as possible for his team, but Invicta, can he do it? Can he kill Arcs? Shadow Blitz is here as well. Can Slice survive? No, Slice might just go down here. But look at that Invicta, 1v2, taken out by crit from Draco Caesar. Slice living on a razor's edge here. Shadow Blitz not able to approach. Baron minions coming in hot. Fountain healing on that Fiora. Will it be enough to defend it? It does seem like Oblation Esports has to back off, but they walk away with 3 more kills, 9k more gold, 2 inhibs down, and they're still dominating.
True. Well, I think they think that Kaito was out of position at the time. No, they didn't know that UPD Paeng was actually at the back, and looking for opportunity to ult whenever he can. But even though he was spotted, I'm not sure why they still went through. Pero I think medyo missed decision lang coming from MGS kasi they had to go back. Hindi nila kayang i-face yung Tremor at the time, even though that long extended fights that were MGS position tribes. But still, they were able to defend pa rin yung Nexus turrets. So doesn't necessarily mean na
could have been worse.
Yeah, could have been worse. Kasi I think if walang trade yun, then that's just the Nexus for sure. So, habang buhay pa, I still think na kaya kasi you mentioned earlier na MGS has a lot of experience turning games like this. And, UPD here, medyo may times silang nag-commit mistakes, especially in the mid to early game. So, let's just hope na that wouldn't happen this game.
You have to be on the same page when it comes to these comms. Stun comes through, Slice gets the cleanse out. They focus all of it onto Kaito, but in comes the two-shot rush. Teleport coming through. Gwen is immune. They get knocked up by the head, but Arch goes down. Kaito might be next on the chopping block. In comes Draco Caesar and Paeng from downtown. Look at that AoE damage. It's a hellscape. And Invicta, though, their last hope. Do a pincer slice, taking out the last member here. Draco Caesar with a crit coming through, piercing like a silver bullet. And that's a full-on ace. Oblation is going to take this 2-0. Draco Caesar spins over. Valley Picture with Slice and the Nexus. MGS. They had a good fight, but Oblation Esports with Paeng and Draco Caesar once again. Kaito living as long as he did. They will be going to the finals on Conquest, and the rest of the Oblation legacy, that is going to be Like all of them from the past, looking forward to the future with pride. Like Neep, Iconic, Coach Mayhem, they're looking at this roster and says they're patting them on the shoulder and say, one more series, right? Meanwhile, MGS are going on to the lower bracket. They still got a chance to get some revenge against Oblation Esports in the finals, but that'll be next week. That was crazy.
Yeah. I think I gotta hand it over to UPD Paeng's engage on the mid to early game. Kasi, I mean mid to late game. Kasi on his early game, he wasn't really the best. He choked a couple of times, I think, but he was able to redeem himself in the mid to early game, especially those last two clashes. Grabe yung engage niya, and I think that's one of the main reasons why they were able to win. At the same time, that Tryndamere that has a lot of damage, they can just deny Tryndamere. Wala silang immediate CC for that Tryndamere. So, Tryndamere just dealing a lot of damage kahit saan, kung sinong carries nila all the time. So, I'm realizing right now, and I think yung Tryndamere is a really good pick right here.
I really like how Oblation acted as a unit there. It wasn't the traditional, like, okay, let's fight information, right? It's not traditional, okay, let's fight information front to back. What they did was, like, they sent in Kaito and Slice and Arcs first. That's how their MO usually was. And then Kaito, of course, being Gwen, survives for so long, just enough to make MGS commit deep enough that Paeng can come in like a flashbang with a Crow Storm, and then in comes Draco Caesar to clean up. That was phenomenal. And of course, MGS, they held out to the best of their ability, but it doesn't seem like they were able to get full value out of like the trifecta of engage that they had with Seraphine, Ash, and the Ornn. It just didn't have enough damage in the end, even with Shadow Bliss, because he got very behind in lane.
Yeah,
like his lane opponent, like after the initial gank, it's a lot of solo kills.
Yeah, even though that they have a good composition, MGS, because you can still deny the fact that they had a bad composition. Siguro, but I think it really boiled down to how Tryndamere was able to perform, was able to deal a lot of damage at the end of the day. But I think as MGS, and yeah, that's true. Shadow Bliss wasn't really able to pop off. Kasi I think supposedly in the mid to late game, Fiora should be the one who's going against Tryndamere, kasi I think Fiora can kite Tryndamere, but unfortunately Tryndamere was able to get a lot of items in the whole game, so it's not really up for contention. So what they did is, just push that side lanes, get that Herald, just push all the lanes and get that potential inhibitor turret, and that's what they did exactly. At the same time, yung Gwen, you said na it's really hard to kill Gwen because she's Gwen, and yung skill niya that isn't really
plus Riftmaker.
Yeah. And kahit na wala siyang Zonya, actually, he still bought a lot of time, and he made it look like na it was all planned kasi lahat ng engage the UPD Paeng is really, really good. I think he was able to get 3, 4, 5 people on their last clashes.
Yeah, so all in all, impressive showing from Oblation Esports. I like how the roster is looking. I'm seeing a lot of the old glory, as they call it. Meanwhile, MGS, they still got a chance in lower bracket. I'm liking the storylines that we're building here, because in the lower bracket, MGS is going to be facing off against Paradigm Verandas. And who sent Paradigm Verandas to the lower bracket in the first place? It was Oblation Esports. So both of these teams, MGS Mages from Mapua and of course Paradigm Verandas from NEU, they have the drive, they have the bloodlust to win next week's best of losers finals to get back at Oblation Esports come Conquest on July 23. So I'm super excited, and of course, man, that was pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting. That's true. But MGS, you still have a chance, like what Hiren said, so you still have a lower bracket next week. But for at least right now, Oblation Esports, congratulations, and we'll see you on the Conquest on July 23. So for those who haven't had bought the tickets yet, I think meron pa rin available, at least weekend pass. So
we also have the giveaway.
Yeah.
We do still have the giveaway as well, and of course, just tweet with the hashtag AllG as well. And of course, all the Alliance teams, we're about to close the split for all our Alliance games across all the titles, right? And all the Alliance orgs are competing across these titles. And these victories, like this victory right here, will have points on the Alliance leaderboards. And the top 5 of the Alliance leaderboard will be receiving AcadArena scholarships and aid, listing exclusive to their campus students worth around 30K. So, the hashtag for AcadArena is hashtag not just play. So we're feed it. It's like a symbiotic relationship here. I'm excited to see it all culminate in the AcadArena. The Alliance Games finals, and of course, just the convention of Conquest 2022 on July 23 and 24. Of course, we have been your shoutcasters for this amazing best of 3. I'm Hyron. With me was Vansu. Good casting with you again after all these years, Vansu. And we will be seeing you for next week for lower bracket finals with me and Paru.